Hi everyone. I'm struggling a lot. I have a concept that I want to do, and I'm excited about it, and I'm also disappointed by it, and I want to make something of this. But every method I keep bashing my head into the wall about continues to result in nothing but brain damage, and I've already suffered enough. I deeply enjoy the idea of trying to find something creative uh, in what's here and something different. And I really like this idea being really enhanced by wonderful, wonderful new cards that literally just make life so much easier. And that card is once again not showing up here because it has to say titled, and I don't know why it's not doing this. Come on. Come on. I'm so annoyed. Thank you. Thank you to VDB. I don't know how this doesn't work out to give me what I want. If I put Sabat here, then I should get. Alright. Getting to watch in real time, me forget the name of cards. Unholy Sacrament. Oh, right, because it doesn't require any of those things. I should just put titled Sabat. Um, so let's do that. Let's see if that works. Titled Sabat. There we go. So this card has been really, really, really exciting my brain. So much so that I just want to put it in everything. Just don't want to not have it in anything. I need more of it, right? But that clearly doesn't benefit us much if we don't have a core deck that is acceptable. So I've been staring back and forth between Path of Cathari, which has a lot of very good presence cards. In fact, almost everything is presence. And a lot of this is very, very, very good. But I've got titles. I want to do something with titles. And the problem is my brain says, you could do a Path of Power and Inner Voice deck. Because I love politics. I love politics. I remember the fun little conversation I had recently with Jan, where he was like, "You're not a Ventrue," and but he's wrong. I love politics. I love bureaucracy. I love moving the needle and convincing people to take actions that are better for them. I love that feeling you get when you're right in the right way. I don't like when you're right just for the sake of being right, which maybe I guess makes me slightly less Ventrue. I feel like I'm a lot tougher than I appear on the surface. I don't know that I really have the great interest in like directly controlling people's minds, but I do like the idea of being influential. Whether or not I can actually achieve any of those things is a whole different question. But back to the deck itself, I think this is a really bad power and inner voice. Bishops have functionally no support whatsoever. So all this really does is gets us quick vampires, and the clan that really wants quick vampires the most really is Cathari. Being able to get out vampires fast, especially if you can enthrall them out as quickly as possible, will really, really give you a pretty substantial advantage. And you can play basically every Cathari card in the whole like boat. The downside here is a lot of what you're going to be doing is hemorrhaging the fact that you don't have a lot of stealth options, right? So Subversion is great. I think this card is a really nice add, and I also think that Seeds of Terror is really good. Talking about the Mithras deck like I did earlier, the Mithras deck is very, very interesting because it has that same kind of one blood over time is a very important thing to keep in mind. The downside, I feel like, to Seeds of Terror is that one blood cost to you. You're often running smaller vampires. So it's gonna be kind of important to think about how you use this card. Hedonism is also a really fun card. I'm not gonna get into my big Q argument until I'm ready to do that video. But this is a exceptional card in what it does. It basically lets one of your other vampires stop a block from happening, whether by starting a combat or just by locking. You start the combat with a different vampire. It's still pretty cool stuff. Really happy that they printed this card. Really interesting mechanically. Very, very good stuff. And then if you got to get out of it, you got Cathari, which I think I like the stun in this style of deck more than I like the unlock, because you're not going to have as much to do with the unlock, but wow, are you going to really benefit from locking down a vampire, especially like you throw a hedonism in there, lock another vampire down that's causing, you're blocking problems, and that's probably going to get you another bleed through. I think forward momentum is very, very good. I think even Terrifying Visage is such a nice card for being able to, push people into weird situations where they may or may not want to block. Just a little weaker because it has that limitation, obviously, of only one per vamp. But I think I've got something here. I think I've got something very useful, but I want just a little more, and this is kind of the problem I keep running into, is there's not a lot else here in the range that it needs to be, right? So if we run this down, we're really kind of at the cap of what we can do here for vampires. And this is, let's knock that down by level of presence. Sort by sect. Sorry, not sect. Let's sort by, that's what I meant to do. So we really kind of hit our wall here. We could maybe put in a couple of other small caps that aren't titled. Let's drop our titles here and look at what we've got. We've got a lot of options. We could run, let's go 2, 3. But really not a lot within a much smaller range. We maybe get like a 5 cap. I definitely feel like we should run a couple of Alfred, though. Alfred seems good. His ability to switch to an Archbishop that can get you an extra blood is handy. You've got a combat cancel if you really, really need it, but you really probably shouldn't be using this. It's just a matter of picking which way we want to go, whether we want to run big Alfred or small Alfred as our primary. So let's say we do this. Let's say we did big. It doesn't really matter which one at the moment. So let's just knock that up a little bit. Let's think about the rest of what we might do here. So if we're going to go with a 5, we should definitely make sure it's got something good going on. And I feel like that's not great. And Creamy Jade and Rose are pretty standard. Creamy Jade's going to give us the most technical diversity of, or not diversity, similarity of abilities here out of all of our 5 caps that we have available to us. Rigby's not really giving us a whole lot, but we get another person with Auspex if we decided we wanted to do something with Auspex. It's not a 0 that we would. I feel like that rounds us out a little bit better. Maybe we run an extra copy of, let's see, there we go. Maybe Violet. I also like the idea of having the extra potential dominate on deck. If we want to at least throw in a couple of deflections. I feel like though more vampires is just better, so we should probably just go this route, right? Throw Rose in there and throw Rigby in there. It's a little bit slower to get them out, but as long as we've got our main set, a couple of these out, we should be doing pretty well there. I don't know, that's something to think on a little more. We definitely want to run a good number of enthralls. Let's run really want this. So let's say 3 of these. Lots of kisses. About 8 of those. Let's get quite a few subversions. Go 9 there. Yeah, Fever Pitch is so good if you can get it. I think we'll get enough opportunities, say about 4 Seeds of Terror. We probably want to run about 5 of these. A couple of Hedonisms. I think we'll take on that a little bit more as we get closer to it. Maybe 2 or 3 Visages. I don't know. I'm not sure about Visage. We'll definitely put that on the back burner. Also in presence, though, we're going to want to run maybe a couple of Enchant Kindred. This is debatable here. We're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 unique vampires to work with. So it might be worth it for us to get a little bit of the swarm going on, especially if we're going to be enthralling them up as well. That's something to think about there. We might want to think in terms of what our pool gain is going to look like. Here, I don't know that we can necessarily afford to lose a lot of pool at any given time, but this might be the time to tribute. If we can get enough out, we get the ability to flop a bunch of stuff onto the table. And so maybe we can tribute frequently enough to be worth it. Maybe run 4 or 5 of these. Hop back over here to presence. We definitely, though, are going to want to run a couple of Paragons to help us push anything we're trying to do through. This gives us equivalently, say, 3 stealth. Not really, because obviously Seeds of Terror isn't really stealth, but it's kind of stealth. And then Hedonism is also only kind of stealth. So really it's just the Subversion and the Paragon. But they both kind of work in that quasi kind of way. What else might we think on here? This is not even relevant to us. There's always the option of running air as well, but I feel like I really I know I'm kind of in the scaredy cat place, but I don't like bleeding for more than 3 when I can avoid it, and here you can very easily avoid it. So I feel like I'm not ending up that route. Sorry, just not my style. If it is yours, feel free to prove me wrong, play something different. Let's play a couple of auras here. This is one of the reasons that we might want to be on this, having access to a good amount of presence and aspects, because we do get the inferior version of Charismatic Aura if we need it. Not a lot, just a couple. We've got nobody with superior aspects. Probably not a good idea to play it at superior. We got, like we said, Kisikathari is a definite here. That should be a great benefit to us. We don't really have a whole lot else we can play here. Unless we really wanted to play like Red Gaze or a Treachery. Yeah, this is before Filter Cast. Not really great. Yeah, so I think we've got kind of a shell here. I do think I like the Enchant Kindreds. Throw a few more in there. That might be too heavy on action economy is what my worry would be here. But it's always kind of hard in these situations to tell. And we're trying, we do, because we do want to go fast, and I don't like when we feel like we're kind of speed bumping ourselves by doing that. We definitely want to grab our Unholy Sacraments. Obviously, getting guys out fast is very, very valuable. I also think that, yet again, whoops, I needed that still up because we're going to run a couple of the Under Sieges. This card is also very, very good. So I think there's a shell here that I kind of like. Pick up on the fever pitch a little bit. We have plenty. Let's see the terror, another paragon. Oh, we can also play favorite archetypes. We can play some capitalists. Every once in a while, getting that extra blood back for successful bleed is quite beneficial. It often pays off. It also often pays dividends if you can play your cards right. We may even here want to think about playing a couple of our other stun cards we have available to us. Going Mind Numb. But again, I don't want to be too heavy in the action economy when we don't have a lot of unlocks. But if we can play our again, this is a lot of playing our cards right. I can keep saying that a lot. I feel like here, but we can end up in a situation where we get an occasional unlock here and there that later on can pay off by letting us mine them again on a later turn. Maybe we throw a pair of these in here, and I'm kind of tailoring this. The functional idea behind this is to play this kind of like I've done the this deck here. So a lot of presence. This does a lot of action because you have Fortitude Celerity, so you have the advantage here of being able to multi-act like this. I think I have to kind of go the same package here, though. That's the other thing. We need a package to push away our deflecting. Good reminder here. So I like, and I'm going to continue to fight for this card. It doesn't really work that way. I like the holds, and I really like the... Why is this not alphabetical? Why would I... Here, give me that. There it is. So I like this, Regs Hold. So Regs Hold is kind of pricey. It's 2 pool, but it costs your opponent 2 pool if they want to get rid of it, and you can potentially buy yourself back the pool very quickly with this. So you pick a card on your opponent's turn, on your prey's turn, in their ash heap, a reaction card. And then you make that reaction card cost an additional blood until they choose to remove this card. And to remove this card, they have to take and lose 2 master phase actions and pay 2 pool, 1 each time, in order to get rid of it. So this is going to buy you either the 2 pool they pay to get rid of it, or 1 to 3 blood in bounces that they're going to have to play. So when you add the Regs Hold, along with, oh my god, I hate when it does that. Can we not have that adjust, by the way? Is there a way that can change? I should actually throw that in, or in the tools section of the Discord at some point. When you combine that with a Narrow Minds, right, this is potentially 3 that your opponent has to play for every deflection they want to use, which is overall a pretty good value. You can buy yourself a lot of time or you can buy your opponent a lot less time by forcing them out of blood pretty quickly. And I think we're a little too high up in card count here. Again, I did want to keep this kind of slim, and we don't really have any reactive elements here. This is where, if we again go also back to this deck again, here Protected District's an option, and I've tried playing a couple of deflections in here. It's not something that has worked out, but Protected District works out pretty well at buying you time. But you don't really have that here, so we're probably going to be stuck kind of hoping on the tributes to kind of buy us a little bit of time, using a little of the enchant kindreds to kind of bloat, drop the subversions a little bit, drop the enthrall this way, I think. Maybe drop a sacrament. I don't know, this might be fast enough and low enough to the ground. We're talking about like getting out 7 caps and turn 2. Could have what it takes. Let's see. Merged advanced, which is what we want to do. These are burnable, so these can basically be kind of considered free. So we want to get Big Alfred out, merge down to Little Alfred, so we can get that little bit of vote action if we want to. I don't know that it matters. This may not even stick. It may just be better to play 7 and not have the merge option here. Because really, all we gain is a vote. I don't know. This is something to think about. Maybe this is a bad idea in this. But if we get Alfred out, Alfred can start to potentially add to the enchanting. So I think here there's something. I think we'll try to run this. I don't know what to call this yet. I don't know. Throw me a name in the if anybody wants to throw a name in the chat. Give me some other feedback as well. But I think by the time you see this video, the deck will probably have gotten a couple of tries in. But more feedback about it is definitely going to be appreciated. Thanks so much, guys.